All right, guys. Looks like I've got. Oh yeah, this thing is on. Hey, looks like I got 6 o'clock. Who's ready for a? Okay. Who's ready for a session of work?
I feel like everyone's
All right.
fired up today.
Yeah. All right. We are amped. First up, we have Extraordinary Teen Council update. Maddox, if you'd like to take it away.
Hello, I'm Maddox. It's been since, I think it was the November meeting I was here. So last 2 I was not present for. The last ETC event that we had was also in November on the 7th for the Fall Festival. That went pretty well, had a good turnout, did some, we had the Peanuts movies playing and had some good barbecue, pulled pork, kids throwing Frisbees. It was fun. Our next event is going to be on the 13th, so the day before Valentine's. We're going to do it at the arcade, have some barbecue, movie, and I think we're going to do a hot wing competition for teenagers. So it should be pretty fun. We'll see how that goes. I don't really have anything big update-wise from the school. I was thinking about doing the SRO survey soon and getting started on that, depending on what you guys think. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I just wanted to see what you guys thought about that and if you have anything else that you would want me to get working on.
Yeah, I mean, as far as survey, at least just how I feel, I mean, keeping the momentum, it's been expanding each year. I think last year was the first time that staff or faculty was asked about it as well. And just really casting that wider net, I thought was pretty valuable from the last time, but
And Maddox, if you want to email the survey to Kay Christie, she'll send it to the rest of us, and then we can look it over, and if we have some burning questions we want to add to it, then just give us a deadline.
Okay, that sounds great. Yeah, I'll take a look at it, make sure there's nothing that I want to add to it, and then otherwise it should be the same one as last year. And then I'll email Mr. Hull after you guys take a look at it and try to get that sent out and make kids take it during advisory. So.
Sounds great.
I have a question. Maddox, how many people are on the council with you? Anybody else? Or do you run it all?
Oh, no.
I forgot.
On
I mean,
ETC,
it's been a while.
Oh, that's actually another thing that I was mentioning or wanting to mention, so thank you for that. We have 2 new youth advisors, I think is what their role is. So one from the normal high school and then one from Horizons. So that's kind of a new thing because we haven't really had any Horizons representation till now. And then, we have probably 5 others, I'd say, on the council. And then a good amount of people show up every time. So yeah, it's not just me.
Oh my, I know you always present to us, but I wasn't sure how you were composed, how your group is. And then what about funding? Are you fundraising? Or are you doing events that require money?
No, all of our events are free for teenagers. And then we have some different grant funding because it's through Family Youth Initiative. Mm-hmm. So it's that same kind of funding stem. And then our adult advisor, David, works for DHS. So.
Okay, great, good. Well, thank you.
awesome. Oh yeah, go for it.
I wanted to hear about the hot wing eating contest.
Same, I wanted to know if you needed judges, because I volunteer.
Yeah, is it hot wing eating or just hot wing? Get the best
We're
hot
all
wing
very
you can make?
interested.
No, it's eating. It's gonna be a round style, progressively hotter.
Oh.
Have a glass of milk in front of you, so
Okay.
if you go for the milk, then you're done. I think the last one's gonna be a Carolina Reaper, really whatever hot sauce we can find.
Well, if you'd like a member of council to, be for a photo op after eating one of those, I'm sure everybody here would be game.
Did that
Not to
once.
speak for them.
I learned my lesson. One and done for me. I've done that.
And then I just want to challenge you to use traditional instead of normal when speaking about Salida High School.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you were talking about sauce.
Oh,
Also.
traditional is probably better there. Okay, anything else?
I have one more. So Maddox, ever since I've been up here, you have been up there doing a very good job. How, are you going to continue? Do you like it?
Yeah, I'm here until I graduate, hopefully, unless anything else changes.
2 more years?
So, yeah, I'm a junior right now, so through the end of this, and then I'll graduate May of 2027.
Then you'll find your replacement?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, hopefully through ETC or whatever
Good.
else.
Well, I appreciate your time. I know you've been doing it for a while.
Yep. Yeah, I started sophomore year, so.
Yeah. You'll be the longest liaison to ETC if you make it all the way through.
If I make it,
Yeah, that's right.
if you guys don't mess
When
up
you-
too bad.
When you make it through. Anything else?
Start grilling you harder next time.
Okay. And I'll give you the email for Kay Christie so that, you could we can see and mull it over, the new survey or the new old survey. And, yeah, we'll go from there.
All right. Well, thank you. If there's not anything else, have a good night.
You too.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
All right, up next, we have Colorado Communities for Climate Action, CC4CA update.
Hey, so Salida is lucky enough to be a part of the Colorado Communities for Climate Action. To add to that luck, we have Jacob Smith here with me. He presented today to the Chaffey County Board of Commissioners, and he's going to provide you all with an update too.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, everybody else. It's great to be here. Thanks for the invitation. I know some of you know us, and some of you probably don't know us very well. Salida's been a member of Colorado Communities for Climate Action since 2019, so you all have been a member for 7 years. We've only been around 10, so you've been a member for most of our existence. The slide deck, I will run through that pretty quickly. I know you have a busy agenda, and I don't want to take up too much time, so I'll blast through this, but also please feel free to interrupt me with questions. If I use acronyms you don't know, feel free to stop me and call me out. And also, I'm happy to go into more detail on any of the information that's in any of the slides, but I'll move through them quickly for now just to protect your time this evening. CC4CA, we started 10 years ago. It's a coalition of local governments. It's counties and munis across the state. We represent, with 47 members now, we represent about a third of the state's population. Our jurisdictions represent that much of the state. And it's a purpose-built coalition. Our mission is advocate for stronger climate policy, mostly at the state level, also some at the federal level, on behalf of our members. So our members are all counties and municipalities across the state that want the state to do a better job on climate policy, and our job is to represent you all in those venues. The motivation originally was basically a bunch of individual jurisdictions that were doing things locally but running into barriers, state law, state policy that prevented them from doing more, as well as just a lot of issues that the levers really are at the state or federal level. Transportation planning, clearly you can do some things locally to reduce GHG emissions locally in your transportation system, but the bulk of transportation GHGs or greenhouse gas emissions are the result of what happens across the state with the transportation system. So there's no way really to tackle that at scale unless the state is doing a good job. And the same is true on resilience. You can do a little bit locally, you can do some things that are consequential, but at scale, that requires the state and the feds to step up in ways that they maybe haven't already. Do I control that, or am I just telling? Got it. Great, thank you. This is a list of the members. You'll see there's folks all over the state, roughly even numbers of West Slope and Front Range jurisdictions, as well as Arkansas Valley, San Luis Valley, and a few other parts of the state. And it's a pretty good mix of tiny towns and suburbs and standalone communities like Fort Collins and ski resorts and just really rural communities. So it covers a lot of that kind of geographic diversity and socioeconomic diversity across the state. And one of the things that's been most interesting about our growth in recent years is a lot of the newer members are communities that have historically been more purple or even more conservative leaning. And the impacts of climate have we're certainly seeing some shift in the politics across the state, but also the impacts of climate change at the local level are just increasingly tangible. There are real costs that you all as a city council have to figure out how to pay. Nobody's coming to your rescue to fix your water treatment facility when the fire upstream results in debris flows that clogs the intake. So like all of those impacts they're real and they're increasing. And I think that's the other thing that's really driving our growth in membership. We've grown every year, and I expect we'll continue to do that. Next slide, please. At the heart of what we do is advocacy, as I said, and we do that mostly at the state level. The legislature is one of the big venues we engage at. The regulatory arena, so regulatory bodies like the Public Utilities Commission, the PUC, like the Air Quality Control Commission, AQCC, like the Energy and Carbon Management Commission, the ECMC, which used to be known as the Oil and Gas Conservation Commission. So these are all these bodies that regulate activities across the state, have real impacts on climate, either directly, climate mitigation, trying to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, as well as the resilience side. How do we help communities get better and stronger and better able to deal with those impacts? And then also the executive branch, the more traditional part of the executive branch, the governor's office, and then the agencies, which run a lot of programs like grant programs, for example, that you all are in the mix for, that many of our members have gone after as well. And so we engage a lot on the program side as well, where there are implications for you all, either resources you might be able to get, or again, barriers that are impeding your ability to do something you want to do locally, or just opportunities that the state could do something that really opens up opportunities that might not be available there. Next slide, please. And then we do a lot of support for our members, and that takes a bunch of forms. On the advocacy side, a lot of it is just making it as easy as possible for you all to engage. You all are really busy. So, some of you may have experience testifying to the legislature, for example, but lots of local elected officials either never have or only have done it a little bit. So we make it as easy as possible. Your voice as a local elected is really powerful. Legislators listen, regulators listen, other state lawmakers and policymakers listen. And so we just want to make it so you can plug and play. We can write testimony for you. We can register you. We can, sometimes it's hours and hours of waiting before you're called up. We can ping you when you're almost up. All the things that make it as easy for you as possible, given that you're local electeds, this is not your full-time job. You have lots going on. And so it's meant to make it as easy for you to plug in to whatever extent you want to. We don't expect it. We just want to make that available because your voices are so impactful. And then we do a lot of things like workshops, briefings, resources. We provide you basically looking for places where there are intersections between state activity and things that are happening locally. A good example is the Extended Producer Responsibility Program. That was legislation we helped lead 3 years ago, I think, and it's just now launched in 2026. And we did some briefings for our members on that program in the early days, and then we just did one earlier in January. I don't know if any Salida folks attended, but that was focused on the process for securing the reimbursements, how to apply as a local government to get the reimbursement for whatever your recycling costs are. So those are the kinds of things we do as briefings and trainings for you all. There's lots of things that are pretty obviously valuable, so we do them, but also our members will often tell us, hey, it'd be really helpful if you could provide some kind of resource or a guide, or if we could just meet with you and ask you questions, or your staff, or whomever the right people are, about programs like that. And then we have a funding concierge program, which I sort of alluded to a moment ago. We started that back in the heady days of the IRA and the BIL, when there was lots of federal money flowing, and that was basically meant to provide a concierge to all of our members to help you all figure out. There were so many federal programs, so many different criteria, different departments, different deadlines, to help identify which are the ones that our members will be most competitive for, and then help you be as competitive as possible when you submit. The federal money is basically gone, but there's still some state money flowing, which you all are now in the mix for. And we've been doing a lot of support of our members for those programs. And then as long as there is money at the state level, or if federal money starts to flow again, we'll continue that program because it's been so valuable for our members. And then really, if there are things that you all flag for us that would be valuable that we haven't thought of, even if it's not something that we typically do, we'll see if there's a way we can help you out. So really at that intersection of you all as local elected officials and local government staff, that intersection of what you do and statewide climate or energy policy, if there are things we can do to help you do what you want to do better locally, or engage at the state level, or just get the state to do stuff better, that's our job. Next slide, please. This is a great example of a slide I'm not going to go into because there's a bunch there, but I'm happy to talk about any of the things on here. These are just some examples of places where we have engaged over the past year or so and had real impacts. Most of those are state, but some of that is federal as well. And that last bullet, I will leave if you don't have the deck already, we'll get it to you so you can review this later and follow up with me as well. That last bullet is a example of legislative session last year, give you a sense of the scale of our engagement there. Next slide. And then this session, this legislative session is crazy. They always are. This one feels crazier than normal. I really don't know if it is, but it feels that way. And it's going to get worse. We're only a few weeks into the session. It will get worse with every passing week. These are some of the major dynamics and themes that that are already real and that we are expecting over the course of the session. The budget gap is probably the most prominent. It is massive. It's worse than last year. The degree of the cuts that the legislature has to make they're mind-boggling, and they will impact local governments and all of your constituents and all of your businesses and everybody else that does anything in the state. So that is a just overarching theme of the session. We've also, as you all certainly know, we've seen federal funding for lots of things drop off, much of it just gone, lots of it diminished. That's been particularly impactful for counties, or will be, because so much of what counties do are these services that the feds pay for, but that's going to end up having runoff effects on the munis as well, the municipalities, and then lots of other federal funding for transportation and water quality and lots of things that municipalities do, that those dollars are just disappearing. It's also the governor's last term in office. He terms out, and so whatever his vision is for legacy or whatever he plans to do next, this is his last chance to do things and tell that story. So that always shapes what a session's like. There's also a bunch of legislators running for Congress or for statewide office, and so they're all both serving and campaigning, which also makes for colorful dynamics. Affordability will remain a huge priority, no doubt, and there's sometimes this tension or a perceived tension between affordability and climate, or affordability and environmental. What we've found is that tension is usually not real. It's more of a weapon, an opposition weapon to kill things, as opposed to the reality of it. An example would be lots of what we've seen in the data on housing, building construction, is if you build to a high efficiency standard on the front end, the extra cost is typically nominal, if at all. It depends on, there's a bunch of factors, and it can be more expensive, but generally that's not the case, or not much more. And the payoff is massive. The cost to live in a home that is efficient, built well, is a huge difference for the resident there. So that's an example of where the story is often more complicated, but the affordability concerns are deep and real and valid, and we're all going to be, as climate activists, as local government activists, we're all going to be, that's a real intersection we'll be grappling with. And then tons of new legislators. That is always, some of you are new on council, you know the ramp up just for a city council. The legislature is, the politics are, I don't know anything about your politics locally, but I can tell you in general, the politics of the legislature are much more complicated and harder and worse and meaner and tougher to navigate than they tend to be at the local level, which is one reason. I was a mayor in Golden. Most of our team has now and in the past has been former electeds or former staff. So the team we get the challenges of local government and do our best to anticipate and meet your needs, whatever they might be. Next slide, please. Again, I won't talk about this, but just flag it for you, and happy to talk more. That top tier 1 item, Public Utilities Commission has a sunset legislation this year. So basically their charter sunsets. So there's legislation that will reauthorize the PUC. This is like everything to do with Excel and get natural gas and a bunch of other things that the PUC regulates. And so that's a massive bill. Sometimes it's a nothing burger. They just redo what is existing now, but it is often a chance to do really big, complicated things, sometimes controversial, sometimes obvious, but that's a big deal. And then data centers, we're seeing those concerns from local governments. Chaffey County mentioned it earlier today. We're hearing it from lots of our members around the state. So those are 2 top tier, and then a bunch of other priorities up there. Again, happy to talk about any of those. Next slide, please. How to engage at the most basic level. Every jurisdiction has a seat on our board of directors. So you can appoint an elected official, it can be a member of the staff. It's really, we defer to you all as our members, whatever makes the most sense to you. And you can have as many alternates as you would like as well. And then the same is true on the committees. You are invited to, but don't have to appoint somebody. Some jurisdictions are on every committee and have lots of alternates and engage in lots of ways. Some don't have the bandwidth for any of that. We're very open, whatever works best for you, but you're welcome to serve representing Salida on one of the committees or to be an alternate, and that's true of staff. We're really, whatever works best for you. And then, next slide, please. And then I mentioned some of these things earlier. We can plug you in to whatever extent you would like to on issues that you care about, or if a city councilor from Salida's voice might be particularly impactful on a particular issue at a particular legislative committee hearing, we can reach out to you and say, hey, here's a chance that your voice will carry some real impact. Maybe your state senator is on that committee or something like that. So we go to you and let you know, and then you can also tell us what you're interested in. Next slide. We have an annual meeting annually, and it's been really, really strong. The members who go, many of them will tell us it's the best annual event they go to. It's typically about 2 days, typically in Vail. It is, again, this year, that tends to be kind of central to where our members are across the state. And the thing that's really powerful, I'll just end on this note, the thing that's really powerful about CC4CA is that we really are a purpose-built coalition. To join the coalition, the elected body has to pass a resolution that expresses support for our policy positions. Once you're a member, then you have veto power over changes to that policy statement. It's a unanimous consent requirement. So you know if the politics are there, if the alignment is there on the policy goals with a jurisdiction, you can become a member. And once you're a member, we're not going to change, you can't get outvoted. We're not going to change policy positions because there was a slight majority of our members wanting to change it. It can only change if no members object to the change. So those changes they don't happen very often. We deliberate a lot. We look for places where we can get the agreement we need. That happens at the annual meeting, as well as just all of the opportunities to interact with your peers, other jurisdictions around the state. That's true for staff too, that are tackling many of the same challenges you're tackling. So lots of shared learning, best practices, just that kind of informal network that tends to be really powerful for local elected officials, particularly where it's not a full-time job. The county commissioners, it's a little easier sometimes for them to do that stuff. For the municipal elected officials, it's just hard. Small communities, you all have other things in your life and so on. So I'll stop there. I am more than happy to answer questions about anything and go into more detail or follow up on anything, whatever is helpful to you all.
David, say your last name again.
Smith, Jacob Smith.
Jacobs.
Yeah, and if you go to the next slide, you'll see I think it's the next slide. Yeah, there you go. Any questions?
I'm curious what the cost of membership is.
It's based on population. I did not look up Salida specifically. It's around, for your population size, I think it's around $5,000. It goes up quite a bit for the larger jurisdictions. So it's population based. We actually had never raised our dues from the beginning until 2 years ago and did a small dues increase for the very first time. We're not doing one next year. Or rather, we're not doing one this year. The board is going to consider whether or not to do a small increase next year. That's going to come up in the next few months. We go to great lengths to keep those costs really low and to make sure the value, what you get for the money, is on the very high end. And essentially what you're getting is representation. I mean, the heart of it is you're getting the ability to affect policy change at the state level that's really hard to do otherwise, especially for smaller jurisdictions, as well as the other resources.
Yeah, I'm only asking because I know that Chaffey County is also on the list for membership, and Julie Mock, I'm sure, is our representative there, and 5,000 nominal, when and if the fees do increase, maybe that's something council can discuss, if we can push that representation just up to the county level for us.
Well, yeah, and I guess it kind of ties into, we have in the past, I know like the past 2 years at least, we've had Councilmember Nacarado be like direct, Salida representation at like annual meetings, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
So it's, while at the same time maybe discussing like having somebody on this council being that direct representation, because I'm not exactly sure who's attending all the, is it Sarah?
Sarah knows things.
Okay, cool, yeah.
It is Sarah who's doing it.
No, yeah, yes. No, all to say, if we did kick it up to the county, who that, would it be Julie? I don't know.
I also think that it's important, the county is representing, obviously Salida, Poncha Springs, and Buena Vista. And so they're having to navigate a lot of
A wide spectrum
thoughts and
of it.
feelings and opinions. Salida has really been taking the lead and initiative on a lot of these things and actually recommends and supports and gently nudges the county to consider different things. So I do think there is value in Salida keeping the membership or figuring out how we can all work together. But I see your point, Councilmember Martin.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah, I'll just add that there are lots of our members are counties where there are also municipalities that are members in the same county. The jurisdictions tend to do it that way because the counties think like counties. So around that table, they might represent in some looser sense, kind of like Sarah's getting at, a looser sense, the entire county. Their worldview is shaped by the responsibilities and the challenges of being a county, which comes with, it's pretty different in a lot of ways. And so the strength for us is we have both of those voices at the table and they are equal. Everybody at the table is an equal voice. And that's, I think, a big part of why we're able to figure out what are the right policies that really work for local governments on climate, because we have that diversity. So the increase last year was, I think it went from $5,000 for your size jurisdiction to $5,150. So it was a very small increase. If we increase in 27, I imagine it'll be small like that again. But also, if you have a representative on the board, that's a decision that the board makes so that you can weigh in to whatever extent you want in that conversation. But if money is ever a real challenge, then let's figure out how to make that work.
Thank you for the perspective from both of you. I was just up here thinking and
Yeah,
just
for sure.
appreciate that. Thank you for that.
Anybody else have any questions, concerns, anything like that? Well, yeah, I guess as we move forward, let's think about who wants to be our representation at these annual meetings as well. And go to Vail, I know that's tough too, so.
It is a lot of work, but it's really good. It's just
Yeah.
it's sort of like going to CML, those of you that had a chance to do that, except everybody there, we're all there for the same reason.
Yeah.
Everybody there because we're trying to do the same thing, which is not CML. That's not a
just
diss
hosted
on
cast.
CML. CML is a different organization, different kind of organization.
Right. Yeah, and again, thank you for giving us a voice at scale, like you referred to before, and leveraging our needs at the state level. I appreciate that.
For sure, you bet.
Thanks for the timely presentation.
Oh, it's my pleasure. You bet. Anytime. And feel free, any of you can reach out individually or as a council if you have questions or want to dig deeper on anything, feel free to reach out.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, facilities strategic plan presentation. We're just keeping planning and zoning here as long as we can. We don't
Yeah.
want you guys to go. We like having you guys here.
Very grand. There's lots of you now.
This is a great time for contemplation.
So the CAF is pretty straightforward. We had a facilities master plan conducted. It's taken over a year. We are pretty happy with the results, and I've summarized all that I can and felt was most relevant for you and your decision making in the CAF. And other than that, we have Brian with the company Facilities Strategy Management.
Thank you. It's facility programming consulting.
Not even close.
Not even close.
I apologize. And I'm going to introduce Brian. He has a little presentation for you to go over what they found. And then he and I will be here for questions. Any questions before we get started?
Diesel, you said he had a presentation?
Yes. Shoot.
I didn't get the
No,
presentation.
you didn't.
That's probably why we don't know.
I
the
have
name.
it. Can I email it to you now?
Do you think I have time to
Break,
go to the
we could-
bathroom really quick?
We could move to planning and zoning matters. No, go to the bathroom. But make it fast. No, we want you guys here as long as humanly possible. I hope that's okay. We enjoy your company, especially yours, Greg.
I tried to keep the agenda short and people kept adding to it. I'm like, you know what? This is kind of rude.
They haven't mentioned that though
Did you get
once,
pizza?
which is very
Did you
humble
get
of you.
some
There is pizza.
Unpaid, yeah, they'll double your hourly.
Yeah, go get, guys, go get Moonlight Pizza. It's in the break room.
No.
We're here to serve.
I mean, at least this is all very interesting.
It's the mud.
This isn't very dry. so-
Yes, I'm like,
I'm trying, Councilmember Pep.
Keep trying. Double down on it.
We were doing so good too, 6:30.
I know, you're doing great.
I know.
just something,
Let's work with them. They're doing great.
just keeping me on the edge of my seat. So
I've been. Sell you the whole seat, but you're only gonna need the edge. Yeah, just the edge.
Round two.
Wait, hold on. We got people that took a bathroom break.
We will
Didn't
wait.
think it would take be that fast. Yeah, wait, it's just a short
They already read it.
bathroom break.
I was thinking y'all could call out for margaritas. Probably not appropriate.
buzzer that rings in the bathroom. Hurry up.
Yeah. Yeah, are there speakers in the restrooms? Just be like,
We pipe this into the bathroom so we can.
wrap it up. But,
Diesel, the presentation is what was in the packet, correct?
Yes.
yeah, we
Yes, ma'am.
got it.
The presentation was in the packet.
Oh, yeah, it
It
was.
was like 50 pages.
It was huge.
Oh, that was the report.
Yes.
Oh, that's the report.
The report was in the packet. This is the
Yeah.
condensed presentation.
It happened a lot quicker than we thought it would.
Word condensed.
I don't know why we thought it would take a really long time to do something like that, but hey, there you go.
So,
All right,
Brian,
moving on.
we're all back. If you wanted to take it away, you could start now.
Okay, is everybody ready?
Yes.
Let's see. There we go. I can't see the slides, but okay. The first slide should be our title slide. That's there. And then if we go to the second slide, I want to introduce myself. I am Brian Sabille. I'm with a company called Facility Program Consulting. I believe the second slide in the presentation will give us a little bit of information about who we are and what we do.
Yes.
Yeah, see that.
Okay. So we are a 30-year young firm that's been established to focus purely on strategic planning. It's what we do. We've worked in 14 countries, 48 states. We're not going to talk about the 2 that we have not worked in. 1,500 programming and planning assignments and over 125 master planning and space utilization projects. Our specialty is strategic facility and master planning and architectural programming. That's what we do. Our intent is to provide you with the necessary information to make evidence-based strategic decisions about your facilities. And our process is very, very interactive. It enables you to make decisions that are proactive instead of being reactive, which is in the most cases in situations of institutions. Our purpose is to be very objective and to collaborate with you to develop a strategic roadmap to accommodate your facility growth. So that's a little bit about who we are and a little bit about what we have done. So if we could go to the third slide, which should say Facility Strategic Document Overview.
Yes.
Okay. So the report, which you said was included in the package, it provides a high-level study to support your facility decision-making over the next 10-year period. So it's over a 10-year period that we had started to do this project. The planning document identifies both the existing and recommended spaces for the City of Salida facilities. We've established the size and relationships of the proposed expansions of some of the existing and new spaces, utilizing planning parameters to predict the future space requirements for the city of Salida and the city administration. So if we go to the next slide, which should be the project visions and goals.
Yep.
The goal is to explore the short, midterm, and long-term strategic planning efforts for the city of Salida's facilities. The review included the current parks master plan. We looked at potential divestment of certain properties. We identified the possible expansion of existing facilities, and we looked at the potential construction of new facilities. Some of your facilities are a little bit older and a little bit dated. I do have to say your community is quite vibrant, very friendly, and extremely beautiful. So, the property location, oh, well, I try. So, the next slide is the property location map, which starts to identify where all your current facilities actually are. When we looked at your facilities, which was over a year ago, the facility inventory was about 160,887 gross square feet. We reviewed the 11 city departments that were located within 35 properties owned by the city of Salida. And we looked at what's going to happen in the future. And based upon your near-term growth, additional utilities, services, capacities, your employees, and the maintenance of these services will be required, that are going to be required to report to the city, is going to be growing. You're going to need to expand those as well. So, long-term vision, which is the next slide. Are we there? Okay. When we start to identify the goals, the first one was to improve the city's experience, the public's experience, in utilizing the city services within the city hall. The Tober building is a little bit of a dated building. It was originally built as a hospital, not as a city hall. It has been renovated and does function. You have a lot of folks that are in there. When we were there the last time, the police department was on the second floor, as well as some of the city functions on the ground floor. The goal number 2 was to centralize and co-locate departments to maximize the efficiency of the existing facilities. And goal 3 was to locate the departments to encourage collaboration and effectiveness. And so the next term is actually the recommendations. So I don't know how you're seeing it on the screen. On my screen, it's very tiny. We broke out the different recommendations into phasing in three different phases. There was phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. Phase 1 was broken out into A and B. The first piece was when we were there, the police department was already looking at renovating the parcel of property on Highway 50. Was to relocate the police department from the Tober building. After you were to do that, and then the old fire station was something that had come up as well. What happens if we start to renovate that facility to do something a little bit different with it? So, that was phase 1A, which was looking at relocating the police department, and then looking at what potentially could be done with the old fire station, which is downtown. Phase 1B was looking at finally relocating the police department after the building was renovated, and then relocating the parks and recreation staff from the aquatic center into a small area that the police department actually was in the Tober Center, in the Tober building, on the second floor. And if they did not fill up the space that the police vacated, to lease back the remainder of that space to Chaffee County for potential accommodate their growth and to generate a little bit of revenue for the city of Salida. The other initiative was to look at possibly utilizing the Chamber of Commerce office for city employees to be relocated if the police department vacated space was not sufficient enough. The other piece, the next step, was looking at the old fire station, about how we could potentially lease that property commercially to generate revenue or income for the city of Salida. The next piece, which is down at the bottom, was to relocate the parks recreation staff to the Chamber of Commerce or the museum building as an option if the police department space in the Tilburg building was not available. Phase 2, and I'm very sorry about being boring, but this is how it all came about. Phase 2 was programming a new city hall, which is basically understanding what the requirements would be if you were to build a new city hall. Begin the process of a building transaction, looking at the opportunity to lease or to sell the Tilburg building to Chaffey County or possibly another investor to reallocate that building to some other purpose. Then start to investigate the funding mechanisms to support the construction of a new City of Salida City Hall, including potential lease property revenue from potentially the fire department that was located in the city center. The other piece was looking at the multi-use facility, which is to construct a storage facility in support of seasonal storage, the police tactical gear, the extra equipment, furniture, and miscellaneous storage needs that the city may have. You have a large parcel of property and there's a potential there to be used for other things. Transition the third bay that is actually in the existing multi-use facility to additional services, to maintenance bay, or to accommodate the growth for the maintenance needs of the city. The other piece would be to construct an additional garage bay for the Parks and Grounds crew and their equipment. If the third bay is not being utilized for growth, to utilize the third bay that's already existing. Then potentially, the other piece in phase 2 would be the removal or realignments of the Marvin Park baseball diamonds to accommodate better usage, more fields, as well as additional parking. Phase 3 is the last phase, which is the biggest and the heaviest of all the phases, which is the construction of the new city hall and relocate the administration, municipal courts, and the parks and recreation personnel. Then the bottom, which was the facilities building, which would be streets and water, would be expanded into place to accommodate the city's growth as needed. So if we moved Parks and Ground Services to the MUF, that would actually accommodate some of the growth that would be needed for streets and water in the future. Then the last piece is construct an indoor flexible multi-use gymnasium field house at the planned Vanderveer Park, Regional Park. So that is how we get there, and that's the long version of the 3 different phases. If we go to the next slide, which starts to talk about the project phasing. Phase 1, hopefully you guys can see that.
Yep.
Okay. So how do we create additional opportunities for additional spaces? When we visited the city of Salida, the police was about to move into a new location. There was a lack of administrative space for parks and recreation. To accommodate that relocation to either the Tuber building or potentially using the Chamber of Commerce and Museum as administrative space, which is right outside of the Aquatic Center. Also create a plan for the current vacant space, such as the old fire station. So what we were asked to do is to take a look at each of these phases and potentially give a budgetary number for how this could be accommodated. So the budget for phase 1, was $6.7 million, $6,768,771. And I know that's a heavy ask, but it just gets a little bit deeper as we go along in the next 2 phases. So. Yes, ma'am.
Can we maybe ask questions as we go by phase?
Sure.
The initial cosmetic upgrades to select arts and culture facilities,
Yes.
What is that?
That is some of the renovations to Riverside Park Building, the Chisholm Park Clubhouse, some of the locker rooms at the Aquatic Center, the locker rooms and the hot baths, a little bit of renovation and updating to the steam plant, some of the repairs to the boat ramp, those kinds of things. That's just the start, because that's going to continue into phase 2, quite honestly.
Okay.
Which goes on to the next slide. So you see project plan at phase 2. Okay. And you see the cosmetic upgrades, and just as I mentioned, it would be potentially Riverside Park buildings, Chisholm Park, steam plant, Marvin Park service garage, and the concession stand getting back up and functioning, as well as the second piece would be planning or programming for the construction of a new city hall and a new multi-use gym and field house at the Vanderveer site. This is actually the planning pieces. And then there would be the construction of the storage facility that I had mentioned at the multi-use facility, and then a construction of an additional garage bay at the multi-use facility to accommodate the growth for grounds. And then the realignment of the baseball fields at Marvin Park. That actually is a heavy lift. It consists of about $19,198,711. Now, these also take into escalation of what the cost would be looking forward for the next few years.
Realignment
Yeah.
of baseball fields at Marvin Park.
Yes.
I think it said removal of the baseball fields on another slide.
Well, so we've been trying to work with the parks, the Prost master plan that was adopted in 2020. And in that master plan, it has removal of all of the fields. Since then, we've learned that we can't fit them out at the South Arc neighborhood. So it's like removal and it's really expensive to realign a baseball field, but we think we can remove and put like T-ball field and potentially softball field somewhere else. So it's trying to smash that the Prost master plan, act upon that Prost master plan while also understanding the reality that what it had planned for multi-use fields and a boat ramp and very kind of a passive park, but for the whole community, not just diamond sports. We're gonna kind of split the middle, get rid of and move half of them.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, go.
So that says the planning for construction of new city hall and new multi-use gymnasium. So that's just getting the plans and the just the planning phase?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. That would be the first phase of the project. That would be basically pre-project planning. That would be getting an understanding of what you actually would accommodate or account for in City Hall and the new multi-purpose gym facility and field house. So that is the planning pieces. But also keep in mind, when we were talking about this, that also continued the cosmetic upgrades to a lot of the facilities that were there, some of the repairs that needed to be done, and then the construction of the potential addition to the multi-use facility to accommodate grounds and the equipment there, as well as the addition of a garage bay at the multi-use facility.
Yes.
So it wasn't just the pre-project planning, it was also inclusive of several other things that were going on.
The multi-use facility is it's you probably haven't seen it if you drive out to Walmart and over on the left where we throw our Christmas trees to burn. It is a new facility that was, semi-new. It was built in finished in 2019, and it holds fleet right now, as well as everything that's confiscated by the police department. It has a meeting room and some other police, like the tactical gear. The SWAT truck is out there. Yeah, multi-use. And it used to have a fire truck that now has been moved to the new fire station.
Mm-hmm. I hate to be the bad guy here.
No, go ahead.
A new city hall. I don't know
Yes.
if we've discussed that as part of like long-term
We
goals
haven't.
or strategies.
So I think what wasn't set up, I don't think here, was an overview of what the city facilities are and how they're functioning for city staff and moving into the future. We aren't under any delusion that building a new city hall is something that is on the plan for any time in the near future. What this study was meant to do was look into the future at how our facilities are working for us now and potential changes that could be made. So the consultant is identifying different opportunities and making those recommendations, and they are not something that staff or assuming council is approving right now. So I don't think.
When I hear phase 1 is planning and phase 2,
I
I'm
know.
like, oh my
And
gosh.
it's, this is
what it would be, yes.
if things were
The way we
all
want them
paid
to
for.
be.
Yeah,
Like we
exactly. So,
At a
Thank you
rec
for
center,
clarifying that.
rec center
So
money.
like, to clarify, there is not any kind of a timeline on
that
this
is
right now?
correct.
Okay.
This is, and so, Councilman Stevens asked about the planning and construction. I think every one of you has heard we need a rec center or something along those lines. And so this is where that process starts. We have kicked the can, and I was asked by the Prost Advisory Board years ago to find out what would it really take to get a rec center in Salida. And this is a part of that process. Well, do we need one? If that's the need, and it's been an identified need, how do we go about getting it? You can't ask the voters for potentially money to build them a rec center when you don't know how much it's going to cost, what you're actually building. So that's where the planning comes in. I think schools do a really good job of showing voters exactly what they're going to get when they vote to increase their taxes by this much. This is the color of the curtains, this is where the door will be, and this is a little picture of students walking into the building. And we're going to have those things if and when we go to the community and ask for more funds. So this is the beginning of the process. I mean, we've alluded to the budget. These things don't go away. We've asked for new bathrooms, we've asked for new facilities, and those have been like, well, we can't do that. Well, we can't do that. It just keeps getting deferred down the road. And we're trying to identify some actual numbers here to say, if we keep deferring, this is where this is not deferring. This is trying to address some of the cosmetic upgrades, the steam plant, pool, the tower itself, some pretty good shape here. We need a lot of roofs in the city too, a lot of roof work right now.
Yeah, I think this is like a lot of knee-jerk reactions. I mean, certainly we've heard rumors that you guys have already commandeered the museum for your needs. This is where those rumors come from. So, yeah.
This is what planning looks like.
Well, feel free to ask staff when you hear rumors about that, because we are more than happy to share with you the actual information that is going on in City Hall. So don't hesitate to ask us.
Yeah, totally.
Diesel, we might want to have him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well.
I had a question. So we're talking about constructing some new facilities and remodeling old facilities. What about I remember last year was a terrible headline, $10 million in deferred maintenance. So where is all that in this?
Well, a lot of that deferred maintenance would be wrapped up into this phase 2.
It is included in this, that maintenance that we've gotten behind on.
The cosmetic, I mean, I would go further than just cosmetic upgrades.
It's a roof, and that's big maintenance.
Yeah. So, Brian, if we could move to phase 3 and finish that one up, we're getting a little tight on time.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Oh, you're good.
I want to clarify just a little bit. This is future planning. This is basically a roadmap of where you're going to go in the future. So it is not intentioned to be today. It is intended to be 10 years out, at least at a minimum. And the idea was for phase 3 was projects to continue. The third phase would be actually the heavy lift of construction of City Hall, growth of streets and water division at the current facility. So you're just expanding what's already existing, and then construction of the new multi-use gym fieldhouse. And then the cosmetic upgrades and renovations, as well as part of the deferred maintenance, would be moving forward. So that is the biggest heavy lift. It's about 68.2 million. And that is the long term of what you would be required if you were to go down this road with this planning. And so, I don't have anything after that, other than I want to thank you guys for listening and letting us be part of this. You guys have been fantastic. The city has been really welcoming and accommodating when we were there. So thank you guys very much. We are available to answer any questions if you'd like. Feel free to give that to Mr. Post and let us know if you have anything else or if you want to follow up. We would be glad to do that as well.
Thank you very much, Brian.
Thanks,
Thank
Brian.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
And I think to sum up from our end, we have to talk about this.
Yes, we do.
Nobody wants to, I get it. And wow, you're really? But when we say, we really need a rec center, how are you going to pay for a rec center? How are we, the community, going to tax ourselves in order to pay for these things that we want and in some cases need? So this is really kind of the beginning of that, another beginning of that conversation, fire districts, recreation districts, property taxes, bonds, all of the stuff that kind of gets thrown out there. It's all pointing back to kind of the same thing. Like, we're going to need a lot of money in the next decade. And so there's some time, but not a lot. It's the governance of and what you are doing now that's going to help facilitate that, 10-year plan.
Just to reiterate too, I don't like to speak for council, but I will say, Brian, none of this is boring to us. Yes, we do want
fascinating to me, quite honestly.
to talk about it. So like, this is literally why we're here. So yeah.
And so for everybody, Tauber is the correct pronunciation of this bill. Mr. Tauber was the mayor here for more than 25 years. And this is what grown-up cities do. They make plans. I remember when the Tinglers said, we would have ripped this house down if we would have realized what rebuilding it and reconstructing it was going to put us through. And so that's what we're looking at. Sometimes you tear things down and build better than slapping duct tape on everything and hope it holds. So thank you for doing this hard work to show a plan. Yes, it's shocking because we've never seen a grown-up plan like this before. Thank you.
Yeah, and you can't work, you have to work backwards from what the best possible scenario is, right? You wave the magic wand, that's what we want, or that's the ideal. Cool, but you can't get there until you know what it is. If we're just whack-a-moling and we'll fix this and we'll fix that and we'll fix this and we'll fix that, we're never gonna get to something that's sustainable. And $68 million is, yeah, it's shocking. And if we don't know what the end goal is, we can't work our way toward it.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know if Brian was. For the old fire station, it was mentioned that we're wanting to make sure we are relocating community partners and compatible external organizations. So fire camp and folks who use that for fire right now for housing.
Yes.
I assume we can't relocate them to the Tauber building, Tauber building, because it's not meant for residency. And so I guess I was curious what our thoughts are with that.
With the old fire station?
Yes, yeah.
So one of the conversations we're having at the retreat
Okay.
in March is a bit more in-depth into some of the facilities that we have.
Awesome.
The wildland firefighters are there through March. We have an agreement with them for that long. But we do need to have a conversation about some of our facilities and kind of get into it a little bit more
The more
with this.
nitty-gritty.
And especially that one, considering the uniqueness of the building's arrangement of ownership and where that line is. Yeah, it's gonna be really riveting.
Good. We've got some ideas.
Stuff. We did a deep dive and have explored and inspected the entire building, so we have more information to share with you.
Great.
We'll wait for the nitty-gritty until our retreat. Thank you. Yep.
All right.
Anything else?
Just remember, there's an owl in Talbot. Owl, Talbot.
And there's an owl and $68 million.
Got another goal. Love it, got another goal.
And this is
Well,
all
and I think-
very important, and no better time than now to discuss it and to get that ball rolling. And thank you, appreciate all the information gathered.
Now we have it.
It's wonderful.
And those numbers only reflect if we do it in the next 5 years, probably.
Oh, look, short-term rental.
All right, short-term rental code revision overview, the moment we've all been waiting for.
Is this why you guys are here?
Thank you.
Well, we're so happy you're here anyways.
So really,
Still, we're happy to see you.
Yeah. Listen, we never get to hang out enough.
so really quick, Bill and I just wanted to go over a few changes updates that we're putting in the ordinance that is going to first reading tomorrow night in the consent agenda. But we wanted council to be aware, in case you had any questions, that we could be prepared to answer any of those. I'm going to let Bill go through the first couple, the caps, because Planning Commission made their recommendation, and then I'll go through the last one.
Thanks, Christy. So this came in front of Planning Commission a couple weeks back to get the recommendation. And in a nutshell, because of the changes to the zoning map that went into effect at the end of December, it changes up the nature of the existing STR areas, which the caps are based off of. So we did a little bit of a conversion exercise and looked at the new zoning map and more or less transferred the numbers from the existing STR areas into the zone districts themselves. So instead of having STR areas 1 through 5, we actually now are looking at basing the caps off of the actual zoning of the properties. And so that first table up there shows what the old cap numbers were. There were 314 under that cap in both business, commercial and residential areas with a current count of 178 licenses, leaving 136 licenses overall. Then with the conversion, we have an area that is residential, the R1, R2, R3, and we also throw in ag district, which we don't have any properties that are zoned that currently, but could in the future, and any PDs all into one district. So you can see the caps, the current numbers and the available numbers, and then the other zone districts, the mixed use neighborhood, the mixed use highway and center, and then mixed use downtown is what MD stands for. So when we played with all that, the numbers came out virtually the same, 309 total cap, current STR license count of 178, leaving 131 available licenses. The one thing to note is that there are a few planned developments out there that, or other agreements where short-term rental licenses were guaranteed above and beyond any of the caps. Two Rivers is the most notable. They received 26 STR licenses, basically all the properties right along the river. This was back in 2016, 2017, that are guaranteed. And so those are outside of the cap numbers that we're talking about.
26?
26, yeah, there are 26 lots there that they negotiated as part of their plan development.
And Bill, I actually had written for questions asking what the other PDs are that have those.
Yeah, there's, let's see, Confluent Park has, I believe, 8. The West End subdivision, which was the Upchurch annexation, has 1 guaranteed short-term rental license. And am I missing any others? Those might be the only ones.
Okay, so those three PDs, what is it?
There's no, I don't believe there's any short-term rentals
They're
with
not
it.
allowed in
For
there.
short-term rental licenses, Salida RV Resort is done separately from that. Like they can rent on a shorter-term basis, but because of their nature of their use.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, so anyways, these numbers and areas, if you will, the zone districts themselves did go to Planning Commission a couple weeks ago. We had a good conversation around it. In the end, the recommendation was to push forward staff's recommendation on that. And then they provided an additional encouragement, which Christy can get into, I think, as far as the
Yep.
rest of the SDR rules.
Stay up there so you can explain this. Another area that we're recommending removing the residency requirement is from the MC, the mixed use
Mixed-use
center.
Mhm.
And currently, the only property that is zoned that is the Two Rivers Commons. There possibly will be other properties zoned that in the future, but currently, that's the only property in Salida zoned MC. And when they got rezoned to MC, they were zoned the same as downtown. They had the C2 zone district. So we thought it made sense, and Planning Commission also voiced their support for that to lift the residency requirement in the MC. I think it's the uses and allowances are fairly close to MD, but I'm not.
Yeah, they're quite aligned. The future land use map identifies 3 nodal areas out along Highway 50 that can be rezoned to MC over time. And they're really focusing intensity of development like kind of mini downtowns, about a mile apart from each other, one along Holman, one at the intersection with New Street, and then the other at the intersection of Highway 50 and 291. As Christy mentioned, though, Two Rivers Commons was the only property outside of downtown that had been zoned C2. We converted that from C2 to MC, and hence the recommendation to remove the residency requirements for MC because it is so similar in nature to the MD downtown district.
Bill, what,
I will comment on that in a little bit.
so mixed-use highway would still have the residency requirement?
Correct.
I guess I just didn't really see, if you're doing the other 2 zones, why that one would not.
It was really kind of taking the lead of council when they initially removed the residency requirement from MD, from the MD or C2 district downtown, and drawing that parallel with areas like Two Rivers Commons, which are zoned similarly, and with an entirely commercial, almost entirely commercial focus. You can certainly have residential there, and there is residential there, but whereas MH is much more vehicular in nature, right? Like maybe some bigger box stores, larger parking lots, all that, not as walkable as MC is envisioned. So,
Didn't we also want to keep some of the residency requirement, just kind of as a matter of course, but break it loose at the centers, just because we want to focus development there?
yeah, and there's right, and a little directionality towards those specific areas.
Easy to develop, easier.
Yep.
Well, and I think we looked at the map, on the highway, and I think the nodes that you pointed out, that made it pretty clear about where those would be, but not lifting the residency requirements on the residentials and the mixed MNs, mixed neighborhoods.
I want to clarify that council's direction was to relieve the residency requirement from Area 1, not C2, which are 2 very different things. Like Area 1 specifically, because it's downtown. I just want to make sure that our current council up here keeps that in mind.
Gone away.
Well, I mean, technically, it's still in place until new caps and areas have been created. So yes, this is Area 1 that Councilwoman Martin was talking about, which is most of the downtown area, which now has the zoning district of MD.
And we did discuss Area 4 being potential, and we agreed that that was not something that we were wanting to pursue at the time. It was just Area 1 for residency requirement being lifted.
Where is Area 4? On the
highway.
Oh, on the highway, right. Yeah, that's what we said too. Except that the MC, because of Two Rivers, and because it was zoned the same as the downtown core, we thought it was fair, it was a fair comparison. And if there are other nodes developed along the Highway 50 corridor that also develop as small commercial nodes, then that would, if they were rezoned to MC, they would have the same lift of residence requirement, is what we had concluded. Whether that's what council wants to do or not, that's their purview.
Do we have the new zoning up in here?
Yep, she did. She can bring that up.
Does
Oh, it's so big.
And though those nodes would be the only places that could get that zoning designation of
Correct,
in
yes.
future.
So Two Rivers Commons is here, formerly C2. This area is one of those nodes. This area is another one, and then this area is the third. So again, as it was brought up, it was seen as almost an incentive potentially for property owners rezoning in those locations to the MC to help really focus more development to those specific locations.
What's the threshold? How does a node develop? Is it sort of an organic thing that's happening, and so we're just trying to facilitate something that's already happening, or is it something where we're saying we want a node to be here?
A little bit of both. I
Okay.
mean, the developer needs to have a plan in mind, of course. The level of development that is potential in the MC is quite a bit greater than that which would be in the rest of the MH. It's much more akin to what we see downtown, with significantly reduced, if not non-existent setbacks, potentially slightly higher height limitations, for instance, greater density allotments, et cetera, that could be possible there. Which is a lot more permissive as far as the uses.
Bill, did those nodes start with the Highway 50 plan way back when? The Highway 50 corridor plan actually called out nodes in those places along the highway?
Future 50 did, yeah.
Future 50,
Future
yes,
50,
yes.
yes.
And I
did
think to
discuss
answer the question, that's where it started, as far as where those nodes might go.
Yeah, they are actually, pinpointed in that way. Councilmember Martin, you had something?
Yes, so I also would like to point out that we had several, I wouldn't say constituents because most of them don't live here, but people who had owned property at the Plaza Hotel. Or sorry, the Palace Hotel.
Ooh, the plaza.
Over at the Palace Hotel. So we had several of them reach out. They had bought their property before we put these residency requirements into place. So my job as a councilwoman was to advocate for some of those people. Just like, okay, I get that. It's downtown. These units are never going to go to workforce for affordable housing for rentals. It's never going to be purchased by someone who's in the workforce. With MC, this down in Two Rivers, if individuals are buying property knowing that there's a residency requirement, that is a different conversation. And then asking for us to lift it for them because that's what they want to see. That is very different than people who bought something at the Palace Hotel years prior, the residency requirement being in place. If anything, that then, like the Two Rivers area, it's the Mayfly that's going up over there, that will allow opportunity for local investment to go into there. People here, maybe it's not the same price as it is the Palace Hotel, but people here are going to be able to ideally purchase those units and make those short-term rentals for themselves. And that is here, people who are here local. So I don't think lifting the requirement for the MC, MH, or anything is anything that I am willing to do at this time personally.
I am. I'm totally willing to do it. And here's why. I see this little area over here, Two Rivers, kind of like South Main in Buena Vista. It's another downtown area. You know, there are a lot of investors who are wanting to get in here. This funnels them into two spaces instead of all over town. We're protecting our residency requirements through the residences, which has been the major demand of the citizens. So we're still protecting that, but we're allowing for some out-of-town investment to happen. And we have to credit the out-of-town investment for transforming this city from an asbestos-ridden, cloth fabric wiring, terrible, scary place into some really safe spaces that are no longer boarded up, that are beautiful, and it seems to be the desire of the entire world to live here. So I think we're moving in the correct direction as far as creating a desirable community. And so I think it's also more competitive for the Two Rivers area, where they got caps for short-term rentals that would exceed the caps if there's that much demand for it. So that makes them more competitive in their own neighborhood.
And two of the three PDs that have, what it was, like
Guaranteed.
a guaranteed, yeah, the guaranteed licenses, that adds up to 34 of those units are in just that area right there.
But that's not going to affect the caps.
Well, it doesn't, it's not included into the caps.
Right. Council, I appreciate what Councilwoman Martin is getting at very much. I just want to make sure we're all clear that we're talking about the blue area, which is mostly commercial.
Yeah.
The Mayfly is different. It's going to be either a hotel or condos or whatever. And there are a few residences above the commercial, above the bakery and above that. But that we're not talking about the rest of Two Rivers. We're talking about that very small commercial zone that was zoned the same as the downtown zone the downtown commercial zone before C2 before it was changed. So that's the nature of why we were considering it.
Yes,
I just want to remind everybody that this is intended to be just a general overview of what you're going to see as part of the first reading tomorrow night, and then a public hearing on the ordinance a couple of weeks from now. So I don't know.
And it
We have a lot of time.
was supposed to be about caps.
Yes.
Like caps was the discussion.
True. There are
It's
two
not supposed
other.
to be another residency requirement lifting.
There are two, yeah, I mean, those two other recommendations are in there though, so.
well, and it was already zoned that before, it was the C2 before, like before we started any of this, it was zoned C2, and then it changed to MC. And in that, there's some businesses down there. It's a walkable community. They're putting in a coffee shop and a bakery and a small bar over there that could possibly depend on some of those, the walkable community coming through there, some short-term rentals, and to frequent those businesses, to keep it a mixed use. And down at the bottom, they're looking for more people for commercial space. So in saying that, they would support that and our sales tax dollars coming through.
I'm shocked that everybody has opinions on this. This is so news to me. Yeah, I think that this is, we could definitely get into the weeds. I've seen it happen before. We can definitely talk about this for forever, and it'll never end. But I would like to hear what Christy with a K has to say about the application timing. What your thoughts are on that other aspect of this, the other ask.
So currently, new licenses in residential and renewals, all renewals are due between May and June 1st. They're due by June 1st. Poppy reviews them all of June, so we're just inundated with short-term rental renewals. So we thought it would be easier on us if we lifted that requirement that anybody in their zone district can apply at any time as long as there's a license available and they meet all the requirements, and then they would renew a year later, so that we're not getting all these licenses all in 1 month and stopping everything else we do for a month to get through them.
So like logistically, that's just an easier
Yes.
bookkeeping.
Is that how other cities do them?
Yeah. And it's exactly what the short-term rental owners demanded when we centralize it all to one date. So we're giving them back what they asked for in the first place, and it's going to benefit staff too. Win-win.
Right.
Yeah.
Back to the caps.
Yeah.
So for MHMC, it's proposed right now, we changed that to 50, and I guess I kind of combine, and it's
yeah.
MHMC. So I know something that we talked about when we were thinking about removing the residency requirement for Area 1 was for that Area 4, which is MHMC, is that's where all of our hotels are. So if we are creating more opportunities, which again, I mean, there's only 7 who are there right now to begin with, we're creating more opportunities for people to have more STRs, and then there's like less use of the hotels. So that's not supporting our local businesses then, who are already there. We are then, that's just something that I know we kind of discussed before. Yes, Commissioner Brownway.
The MH remains, I mean, we didn't do anything to change that. We just simply said the MC.
Yeah, I think there's confusion, Bill, and I don't know if we can pull up a different map. I think there's confusion. It's not all of Zone 4.
Right.
It is I'm not saying that it's changing your mind. I just want to make sure that it's
sure we're
really
clear.
clear on the very specific
The slashes
area
on it.
that is being proposed as changing.
I'm pretty
So
sure
we need.
it's pretty much Zone 4, Area
It's
4.
not all of Area 4. It's a very, very small.
Yeah, and the
Yeah,
MH
so if we could bring
slash
that up, because I
MC is
think
not-
that
the slash is
that
not doing us any
may
favors.
help.
We get the map.
Yeah, it's based off the future land use map that has the areas that are eligible for MC. They're kind of circled at those intersections that I talked about. So there's really
But there's only one right now that's MC
Yeah,
that
there's
we're
only
talking
currently-
about right now. So if the council were to determine to change MC to no residency, then anyone else who comes in to change their zoning to MC, the council would have the opportunity to go through this process of changing their zoning to MC.
It's not automatic.
It's not automatic.
I will just say,
So-
as a proponent initially for the nodes, the philosophy there was that certain elements that can occur along the highway, we would want them in these particular spots that were identified in these like circular nodes, as where that would have, like where we would want to see it happen, and like condensed into that space instead of spread out across the whole highway corridor. So it was like very particular parameters that if they were to occur along the highway, they happen in these specific spots. And then only when those things happen in that sequence do we even consider changing that zone at that point. Like the node is not like something that is even guaranteed to happen.
No.
It's just.
No, just like any other zoning, it has to go through the public process, and ultimately there's a decision based off of a variety of factors.
Right, yeah.
And the rest of the highway remains MH.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
I
in
guess
perpetuity.
I'd just like to add, the highway is kind of a barrier in our community, and we keep hearing we want to keep the small town character, and we like walkability and all that stuff. And this is kind of a chance, in my opinion, to kind of mesh the two. Then we have some nodes where we want to give people the opportunity to have some short-term rentals. We can focus that activity, build up a little bit of density and walkability. And then we also have, adding more to that, Vanderveer on the other side of the highway. So eventually our town's going to grow to the other side of the highway. And I look at the nodes as a place to kind of focus that crossing, like how do you cross the highway? How does it not feel so much as a thoroughfare kind of thing? Like,
Oh, that's the
just
area.
thinking kind of a little woo-woo, but big picture about it.
It feels less like the rest of Highway 50
Right,
from Sacramento to Louisville.
right.
Right. So it's like a character thing.
Sit down.
Yeah, it's down. Great, oh, next one, yeah, keep going. A little bit more. Down.
Of course, we don't have those nodes circled because they're just there really
Dark
info.
blue piece.
area that is zoned MC.
Yes, I think so for the cap, the proposal for the new cap, it's MH/MC, so it's kind of put together as one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's,
makes it, muddies the water.
But the residency requirement, we're proposing to lift it just in MC,
Right.
not MH, just in
On
MC.
a
Right, and-
case-by-case basis.
Sure, and I
right?
think, if I'm not
Well, the case-by-case basis would only be if it is rezoned, right?
Right.
Because right now, MC that is the only place where it's zoned MC. There's no other place.
Right. And these like residential character nodes that could pop up on Highway 50, then we cross that bridge, like if it gets there.
Thank you for putting all this together.
no, yeah, I have a lot of thoughts.
Well, the public hearing will be February 17th, so.
Yes, I look forward to it.
I always
I
look
don't know,
forward
I
to
guess, I think it's something, I sent an article to our mayor recently about the town of Buena Vista going into an emergency moratorium for their short-term rental licenses because they are having an issue with it becoming an issue. They have too many and they haven't regulated it enough and they're seeing that now. So I think that is something we need to keep in mind, that as much as, a lot of people will point to them and say, look at what BV is doing, this is what they're doing. They also just recently put themselves into emergency moratorium to stop their licenses for short-term rentals. So I think that's something we need to think about when we think about lifting another residency requirement for another area.
But we're not lifting the cap.
Cap is still
We're
there,
actually,
it's just-
right, the caps, we're controlling it with the caps is our goal. Just allowing certain, like the C2, old C2, to have out-of-area people purchase. The rest of it remains pretty much the same. And I want to point out that these caps also do away with the 3.5% that was in the old policy. It said 3.5% of the housing stock would be the cap. That would go away and we'd have hard numbers. So these are hard caps, which I think is pretty important when we're talking about, keeping our neighborhoods.
Thanks for mentioning that.
Yeah.
It was always off that 3.5%.
And we're still limited to one per.
One per.
Correct?
One per
So
block
somebody
and
can't come
one
in and buy 15 units
license per
and short-term,
person.
yeah.
Right.
Yes. Yep, those other restrictions still apply.
Right.
Well, and it looks like we're not close to our caps. I mean, our cap so far hasn't had to work. I mean, it's there just in case we get there. Where
I think
Buena
we'd like to
Vista
see get
must
to those
not have
caps
had that.
with all the residency requirements. I
So-
think that's what's making us fall behind.
Right.
getting
We're
to
not
those caps,
falling
so we're-
behind.
What's that?
We're not falling behind.
Not falling behind.
It's not a target, it's a cap.
Well, we'd
Those are
like to
different
see us
things.
get closer to those caps. so.
Me too, yeah.
I mean, the biggest reason why we have this in place is to generate funds for our affordable housing projects, right? And so if we're sitting there, we're not allowing the process that we put in place to get to those caps because of residency, then we need to change something, right? We need to either come up with, we need to just stop just saying, don't let more people come in, don't stop STRs from happening. We need to come up with a different plan to try and fund our affordable housing. All I'm hearing is stop these, keep the residency requirements here and the caps, which is kind of fighting for each other. I understand what everybody's talking about, trying to keep the town, our town. But we also, one of the biggest things that you fight for is affordable housing, but we're not getting to that goal of affordable housing by.
Sure, and if we were to remove the residency requirement on all of the town, we would still have no more short-term rentals than we do today. So what we're trying to do is in our neighborhoods where people live, hopefully full-time, we are trying to protect those neighborhoods while allowing for a broader base of purchasing power, to put it one way, in the commercial downtown area and the MC node. That's all we're trying to do. Everything else, we have stood fast, and we started this so long ago. And we were way ahead of places, other municipalities in our county, by putting rules in place to protect, so a private equity can't come in and buy a block and just have it be a short-term rental block. So we've done the right things, and what we're trying to do is expand a little bit to hopefully raise maybe a few more short-term rentals. But the truth is, we need to value our neighborhoods and the people who live there. And I think this is a great way to do it with the commercial. Sorry, I took so much.
And I wanted to say thank you to Aaron for bringing us back to affordable housing, workforce housing, which has been number one on the citizen survey for how many years? These are the only funds that we have to honor the many commitments that we have made with the South Arc neighborhood, with the D Street affordable housing project there, and we got to have that money. We have to allow economic development. That is one of our jobs. We can wish in one hand, and I'm not even going to finish the rest of what Daddy used to say, but beggars would ride, I think is how it ends. We can't just have our heads in the cloud. We have to focus on our affordable housing, and we have to focus on economic development. We're a grown-up city. People who want to live in the woods, jump on your horse and ride.
Right. Is there any additional clarification needed on this subject before we move on? Anything at all? 'Cause I at least I personally know where everybody stands, and I look forward to reading your.
Shelley hasn't said.
That's true, and
I don't have anything to say, I'm just saying you don't know where I stand. I have a list of questions, is what I have.
Okay, well, this is actually perfect timing to.
No, it's okay, I
Okay.
will
Okay.
use the time more effectively by asking people on an individual
I'm
basis.
sorry, I meant everybody else I could read their book on this subject.
I guess I'd just like to leave it with I guess a challenge for the rest of us, if we don't see STRs being the motivation forward for our affordable housing, funding our affordable housing, let's put our heads together and come up with something that is, instead of just knocking this same thing back and forth and not coming up with a new plan.
I guess that would be like what I think also is, I was just typing, is the fact that the Affordable Housing Fund is populated by STR taxes directly at odds with the goal of creating affordable housing for the workforce. Like, are we sort of creating a conflict here by funding the thing with STRs that are, by some people's opinion, chipping away at the
It's more of
exact thing
like-
we're trying to do?
I
It's like more of like
think we need to.
accountability mindset.
I think we need to pay close attention to what the legislature brings down, because if they change, if they legislate possible financial implications for vacant second homes, then this whole conversation changes, because our short-term rental requirements may be at odds with what the legislature may do. So I think we need to keep our finger on the pulse on that one. Maybe you know more, Bill, but there's a couple of bills in the state house, I think.
Yeah, it actually was supposed to go to committee today. It got postponed to next Monday to be considered there, and we should know more next week if it's going to advance in this particular session or not. But it is a very groundbreaking potential piece of legislation to allow municipalities and counties to tax based off of vacancy. That would be set by those particular jurisdictions as far as what that meant.
Right.
So, yeah, so something we'll definitely keep our eyes on.
Only 2 jurisdictions in the country currently have something like that also.
There might be a couple more than that, but the 2 big ones are like San Francisco and Vancouver, I believe.
Look forward to being on the.
This was one of the initiatives that the city supported through CAST, and that the city then, I presented it to CML to bring forward for the ballot, so. Well, no, I just wanted you guys to know that you know about. No, it's good. You knew about it. It was something that we all agreed would happen.
It's a line item.
Other duties as assigned.
I guess just, closing comments for me on this is that, in my perspective, we have tried already. We just lifted it downtown for the residency requirement. We haven't seen any results of that yet because we haven't had, it's not May 1st yet. People can't apply just yet. So I just think that I would like to see what downtown area, I like to see like just more numbers, more information come, more time more than anything before we decide to lift another residency requirement for another area. Because we are making compromises here, Councilmember Stevens. Like, we are trying to think of other ways, and we just, I worry if we undo everything at once, then we will find ourselves into a bigger problem than we were before.
And just to be clear, the June 1st timeline actually only applies to residential properties in the residential districts. The rest of them are on an ongoing rolling basis.
Okay, thank you. And June 1st, I guess, not May 1st.
They can
I
apply.
mean, STRs are going to get replaced by camper vans anyways, guys. This is already antiquated. Okay. Well, if there's no other points of clarification needed or anything like that, I think we can move on and release planning and zoning from their.
Or you
Oh, no.
can stick around for the next one.
Oh, you want to see the community development department overview?
Hey, they've been here for all the rest of them. Might as well stick around.
40 minutes, why not?
I guess you could leave, but we would judge you right now.
Right.
You're not quitters, are you?
We've been curious about what you guys do anyway.
Us too. It took putting together this presentation for us to figure it out.
Yeah.
It's so vague what you guys do.
We got to peek in.
All right. Okay, yep. So as you have become accustomed to, each department gives a little overview of what we all do, all our various roles. So it is our turn, and given the time, we try to get through this particular presentation fairly quickly. Next slide, please. So starting off with our mission statement, our department carries out the goals of the comprehensive plan via the Land Use and Development Code to ensure that we're meeting all the goals of the city, including meeting Salida's small city character, our natural environment, our sense of community, and also ensuring that we have a healthy economy and plenty of housing opportunities for the workforce. Next slide. The community development team is composed of 4 of us.
Yes.
3 of whom are here right now. At least there's 4 spots. Myself as the director. Click. And we're bringing in all sorts of fun. No, but actually I did this very specifically because we have had an opening in our department for senior planner, and I would like to formally introduce our new, I don't know what it was, new senior planner.
Yes.
Very excited to be able to elevate her into this position. Kristen has done a fantastic job for us over the last year and a half or so that she's been here, and basically shown us that she can do everything that we need in this particular position. So that does leave a gap because her position is now open, and we're going to be rehiring here shortly for that, and it extends our period of time in which we're going to be more understaffed, but that's the way it goes because we got a great senior planner on hand. And then lastly, planning technician Tommy Sherwood. So as I say, small but mighty staff. Next slide. So Community development, we have 5 focus areas. Current planning, long-range planning, historic preservation, affordable housing, and community economic development. So we're going to go through each of those. We're going to take some time doing a little bit of each. I'm going to hand it off to Kristen, who's going to cover current planning first.
Thank you. All right, so focus area number 1, current planning. Primarily land use applications. What these look like are things like subdivisions, planned developments, annexations, and then with our new code, things like minor site plan, major site plan, some of which Planning Commission will see, some of which City Council will see, some of which both of you will see. We also do things like pre-application meetings. So if there's a developer who owns a piece of land or is looking at a piece of land, they can come in and kind of brainstorm what they can and can't do on that property and how to accomplish their goals. As far as processing, we do a lot of noticing, as you know, in the Mountain Mail and with legal noticing, things like that. Agency review, so involving things like utility companies and the police department, making sure that anything that we're proposing actually works for the community services as well as our plans that we have adopted in place. Staff review, so that's usually things that are smaller in nature, a little bit more straightforward. Typically, for staff review, won't go to Planning Commission or City Council. And also, as you know, some of you are Planning Commission, so helping manage that board, which also serves as the Board of Adjustments. And just making sure that those meetings are happening, agendas are being posted, minutes, the whole 9 for our record-keeping purposes. And same thing with City Council when it comes to presenting to our City Council members. Focus area should be number 2 on the next slide, but that's okay. Maybe they all say number 1.
Well, it's still kind of under there.
Okay, sorry, we made this kind of recent. So current planning continued, land use and development code. Of course, this is the foundation of what serves our land use applications. And as all of you are aware, we have a new land use code in place, accompanied by our map, which is small, but we looked at earlier tonight, and our dimensional standards table, which does a lot of our planning for individual lots. Our land use code also implements the comprehensive plan and other city policies and goals. Our comp plan is a little outdated. Now that we have a new land use code, we'll probably be looking at updating the comp plan in the near future. Things in the comp plan include trying to maintain that small city character, providing a variety of housing opportunities and types, and kind of trying to get that placed well within our city limits. And natural resource protection, as lots of you are aware, that's a part of our new code as well. And efficient use of infrastructure and resources. So that's things like the utilities that we mentioned earlier, specifically water and wastewater as well. And then I will hand it off to Tawny.
More current planning. So I guess I do what's most immediately needs to be dealt with. So I think it's pretty obvious we deal with building permits. It's anything from decks, single family homes, ADUs, anything that needs to be built that's about 30 inches. You come to me, I review your building permit and I issue it. I pass it off to the county. Other permits that are maybe a little less obvious, we do have about 20 permits that we come through our office. Signs, if you're a commercial business and you want to put a sign up to advertise it, you come to me, you get a permit, I review that. Outdoor vendors, food trucks, we have a lot of them in town. They need permitted. They come to us, you get a permit. Grading and tree disturbances, that's new. I'm going to be honest, we haven't done one yet, but as part of the new code, and I think we're quite excited about it, just to make sure trees are maintained, soil quality is maintained, water, that's what we're going for as well. And on the same side of that, we have our floodplain permits as well. Anyone that's on the ARC, if the FEMA floodplain map touches your lot, you have to do a floodplain permit. So there's lots of that. Another large part of my day is just walk-ins and general inquiries. You call me on the phone, you walk in to that window there, which looks institutional in that photo. Yes, it was a hospital.
Angle is on.
Yeah, try to make it more inviting than that. And that's anything. That's literally anything to, where's Heather? She's upstairs. So what does the code mean? You know, what are we doing with that? What can I do with my building? And today, I did actually get this one. Kristen got it, but we had someone complain about an angry beaver. Well, a beaver. I don't know if it was angry or not. What was that? The member of the public was a bit annoyed about it. So we get a little bit of everything.
Angry beaver.
And
What did we do about it?
Kristen didn't
Actually, we're pretty curious.
That is so not us, guys.
We didn't give him a good answer, so I think he just walked off.
Okay. He actually came upstairs and looking for parks because he was worried the beaver was going to get the tree in half and it was going to go in the river. So our parks guys help him out. And since it's on private property, he has to deal with it.
Another thing that's, falls on my desk is code enforcement. If someone complains about it, someone's built something in the wrong place that's happened. Lights are too bright, noise, anything. That's us. We generally liaise with the police to deal with that. And we also work with Chaffey County, with that intergovernmental agency. They're our building department. So I'll take all the building permits that come in, then I pass it off to them and they look at, stuff that's structures, fire safety, anything like that. And we also work with them on code enforcement as well.
Would business licenses that we start to do soon, would that be coming to? Christy K, okay.
K. Christie.
K. Christy, sorry, yeah.
It's Kay Christie from now on.
And I'm sure there's going to be plenty of interfacing there because those business licenses will be a fantastic opportunity to get some of these code requirements out in front of the businesses themselves. You need to come in for a permit for your sign or whatever it may be. Okay, so the second focus area is long-range planning. Lisa, you mentioned grown-up plans earlier. We do have some grown-up plans. Our comprehensive plan, which includes the future land use map, the 3-mile plan that we're required to have statutorily with the county to determine the areas to which we can actually grow and provide services, water and wastewater primarily. That's what created the municipal services area and the municipal planning area. That IGA with the county that Tommy was just talking about also really spells out the interaction between the county and the city when it comes to annexations and other development applications that the county may get or that the city may get, and the type of communication we're supposed to have with them and the triggers for various actions. We have a regional transportation plan, which is also quite outdated and will probably need to be updated sometime in the foreseeable future, as well as a number of area plans. South Arc neighborhood kind of counts as one of those, even though it's a PD. Sackett's Edition, that's an overlay that also has design guidelines on it for one of the neighborhoods just outside of downtown. And then the Future 50 plan, which came up earlier this evening, was finished, I believe, in 2020, which really helped create a bit of a blueprint for what the community would like to see Highway 50 look like in the future. So we do a lot of these plans with a fair amount of public outreach and events online and in person. We've gotten some great turnout in the past, and these are actually plans that we do use on a fairly regular basis. So they're not just necessarily sitting on a shelf gathering dust. Next slide.
If you see housing, you know it's me, right?
Right.
As we've talked about several times tonight, especially during the STR conversation, affordable housing is a huge priority in this city, community, and as we probably hopefully know by now, we have inclusionary housing policies in place in our code, and those were in the previous code, and they're in our new code as well, with a few changes, not too many inside there, and this is also something that we feel like is an evolving piece of our code since it's kind of more new. And so we're always trying to bring that to you guys and make sure that the policies are working. We also have, of course, our CHA and CHT partners. We work a lot with Marjo and Reed to make sure that plans are being implemented, plans are being followed, things like subdivision improvement agreements that include inclusionary housing agreements Are those being followed through? What questions do the developers have for us as they get closer to, for instance, selling their inclusionary units? Making sure that Marjo is connected with the folks that need to be connected so they can be marketed, things like that. And then, of course, we have our current projects, the Senior LIHTC project and park in the upper right-hand corner. That is the 55-plus community, which applied for their LIHTC grant today. So fingers crossed.
Oh, yeah. Light a candle.
Yes. And we also have, of course, the South Arc neighborhood, lower right-hand corner. We all know plenty about that as well. About half of that is supposed to be deed restricted affordable with a ton of nuances in there. And Bill mentioned earlier, it's a planned development overlay as well. So there's a lot of moving pieces and parts to that. And then First and D Apartments is the workforce housing and middle income housing project down in town. And let's see. As far as grant writing goes, we are also involved in coordinating the writing of grants that we get for some of these projects and also for some of the staff. Like I'm partially funded right now by DOLA which is the Department of Local Agencies, for our local capacity planning grant. So making sure that our policies are working and they're in place. And let's see what else we have. Granzella. So obviously we had a land banking grant with the Department of Housing for that. So making sure that got in place so that we could purchase the land for the Senior LIHTC project. And also reporting along with all of these grants. We have to prove to the state that we're doing what we said we would do. The South Arc also had a Strong Communities and More Housing Now grants, and Department of Housing is also helping fund First and D. So lots of grant writing and grant compliance that happens along the way. And back to you guys.
I want to give a quick shout out to Kristen and all the work that she did specifically on the Senior LIHTC project, because typically a LIHTC project requires a minimum of about a year to put everything together to get a good application, a competitive application in the door. We signed a contract with North Point Development in September, and we just got in an application today. I think it was less than 6 months from start to finish, and there's a lot of work.
See, who needs 4 people in a department? Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Maybe take it easy on the,
For inclusionary housing policy, sorry. Do we have that coming up for discussion anytime soon? Any revisions or anything?
Not specifically. Once CHAFA and HUD release their new numbers for 2026, we'll revisit some of those for sale and for rent prices.
Okay.
In the AMIs. That's usually in the spring.
Okay. So we do it every year?
Yes,
That's
once
what
a
I
year.
thought.
Yep,
Okay.
we have to wait until HUD releases their numbers.
Yes,
The
makes
county
sense, for
follows
sure.
and then we follow.
Yeah. Thank you.
Our fourth focus area is the historic preservation. Salida has the largest historic district in the state. Yes. And we are the certified local government of that, so we're the custodians of it, I suppose, if you want to put it like that. That includes mostly downtown, but we also have local historic landmarks, like the building we're in right now. Not this exact part of it, but the building we're in. And anything that has historic kind of certification that has special guidelines, they have to come through us as well. And we're in charge of orchestrating the HPC, the Historic Preservation Committee. That's 5, I think it's 5 at the moment. They meet every couple of months to discuss anything that, any alterations, anything that's going down with like a historic building. Our most recent one was the boathouse. They're putting another floor on that. Anything at all, and Biker and the Baker actually. They're putting a roof on that as well. So anything that has historic status, they come to us and the HPC will go ahead and review that.
And you guys are looking for volunteers, right? I read in the paper.
Oh, are we all right?
Yep, we are. We do have an opening. All right, and then last focus area. Shelley wants to sign up for that too?
Sorry, give a thumbs up.
And just lastly, the kind of all-encompassing as far as our work with other departments on a variety of projects that contribute to our economic livelihood and opportunities and health here within the city. So, you know, occasionally working and meeting with businesses, certainly working on some of the downtown efforts and F Street in particular, certain special events. Our department has done parking studies in the past and worked on those, and also more grants and grant writing for items such as safe routes to school, which is mostly along Highway 50, but other portions leading to some of the public schools. Grants along Highway 50 to help increase the lighting out there, the public improvements and sidewalks, as well as revitalizing Main Street during COVID, you know, the pergolas and the Adirondack chairs and certain things along those lines to try to help keep the money flowing to this community. So we obviously play a whole bunch of different roles in this department. And let's see, next slide. Tommy is going to go over our website, just to kind of give you a little bit of quick familiarity with it, and then we can take questions.
I don't think I'll show you the actual website because we all know how a website works. But just to let you know, in case you want to go back and study anything we've discussed, you know, today, our long-range planning, that's where you find the South Arc stuff. Our zoning and development, that's where you find our land use code. We also still have the land use code rewrite process on it because Bill is pretty adamant about showing how open it was, even though some people argue against it. You know, the historic preservation, that's where all the information for historic preservation is. Affordable housing, this is all Kristen's stuff here, and we have each one of our projects has its own page. And finally, if you want to apply for anything, all our permits and applications are online. That's it there.
And I think we have one more slide.
Nice.
It's Groundhog Day. Perfect.
Again?
Shall we do that again?
Yeah.
I do have a question about the website. I have had difficulty finding the inclusionary housing policy online.
So under affordable housing, the inclusionary housing is smooshed in here with the rest of the projects. So the affordable housing is its own like main page, and then the drop downs are the 3 projects in the inclusionary housing.
Yeah,
And
but like the policy
The policy is
itself.
going to be directly in the code.
The code.
It's in the code, okay.
It's chapter 16, 7, 16.
I think it's 9.
9, right, 9.
Right. I'm not positive. It's really new still.
We can go to that right now too, if you want to go to zoning and development and pull up the code. Or not.
I don't know how to do that.
So this is the overall summary of inclusionary housing stuff, but if you go.
Yeah, the policy is embedded in the full code.
Yeah, if you go
In the
back up.
municipal code, right?
Yeah, so go to zoning and development. Click on that, yep. And then go down to land use and development code. Click on that. And then we found these table of contents are clickable, so you can go directly from 16.9.
Click on it.
Click on it, and it'll take you right to that section, so.
You were right, Kristen.
Wow, 16.
Sweet.
Yeah, so that is our policy, basically laid out as far as development and what's required.
Okay.
Thanks for that demo.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a required code provision, not a policy. Not to be a lawyer, but.
I can't understand legalese.
It helps it says requirement right there, housing requirement.
And then, sorry, I do have another question. The safe routes to school, do you know if we have plans right now for that to include J Street?
Yes.
It's not currently a part of that grant. We received, so everybody knows, we received a Safe Routes to School grant 5.5 years ago to extend the sidewalks along Highway 50, to extend the Holman Street sidewalk all the way to 50, and to pave the Striker Trail that goes from the end of Angel View Circle to the Monarch Spur Trail, all leading you towards Longfellow Elementary and arguably towards the Montessori School as well. That has been in the CDOT morass for, a while now, and we are still working on getting the permits for it, but that work is anticipated to start in the next year or so, I believe. It does not include J Street, however, at this moment.
Okay.
But
If
J
I
Street
could,
is,
because we've had questions about this as well, to tack onto this, because I think there's some confusion about safe routes to school and safe schools conversation. So the city has funding for 2026 to plan for the design of J Street improvements for, sidewalks and multimodal transportation. We do not have the construction funding, but 2026 has design funding in it.
Okay, great, thank you, Christy.
Anything else? Any other?
Good job, you guys killed it on time.
Wow. My gosh.
Imagine if you had 4 people to do that.
I know. I mean, you're doing the work of easily 6. Easily 6-person department is what you're doing.
Well, you guys rock.
Thank you, you guys. Thank you.
You're amazing. And thank you, Planning Commission, too.
Yeah, thanks for sticking it out with us the whole time. We did it on purpose. We wanted to spend time with you.
I want to know.
Yeah. What do you have somewhere else you're trying to be?
Yes, ma'am.